Okay, our beloveds, this is take 2 as we had a technical glitch with take 1. So we want to share with you how everything about you matters. Everything. We are trying to teach you all that as you go through your journey of life, that you will experience many experiences, and they're all here designed to teach you about you. Now, our Another, as she is settling back into somewhat of a more normalized rhythm of life, she is beginning to restore some order in her home that has gotten away from her over the many, many years. She began this journey over a year ago of beginning to what would be the right word? To downsize her belongings. She has clothing from 30 years ago because she really likes it. She has shoes from the days when she was in the professional world, which she had hoped to return to, and it's just becoming very apparent. She's not returning to that world, nor can her left foot with her toe injury ever squeeze itself back into a professional shoe with a heel. So she's beginning to sort through her belongings to get some measure of control over the objects which find themselves in her home. Now, we have shared with her, and this may be helpful for many of you to understand as well, that when you see somebody who has hoarding tendencies, it is because their inner world is incredibly cluttered and confused and distracted and disorganized. And their inner world is merely a reflection of their outer world, and their outer world is merely a reflection of their inner world. It's the chicken and the egg at some point, because as your outer world becomes so overwhelmingly chaotic, your inner world cannot manage the outer world and shuts down and itself becomes more chaotic. But our Another is beginning to feel a little bit more resilient and is beginning to take minor steps every day to create order within her home and within her mind, and most importantly, within her life, so that she feels that she can manage this new journey called singlehood. And she's finding some trust and resiliency in her ability to continue to manage this process, even when she physically feels poor many of the days, and is doing what she can and what she must in order to maintain life. But the other dreams that she has are still point breaks, if you will. They are not day-to-day activities within which she can engage in yet, but we are trying to build her back up to that state where she will have more strength, more compatibility with a more active lifestyle, and to become that a warrior that she has expressed an interest in becoming, in one who fights for justice and equality for all. And it is her desire right now to journey down that path for a bit in order to bring about a better world. And so her warrior stance will not be from a perspective of fighting against the status quo, because she knows fully well that you cannot fight an existing energy with the same energy in order to change it. You must have a strong resiliency, but come from an energy of love, which means that you stand up for yourself, you stand up for what is right, and you begin to become a stronger version of you, where your punch is stronger than the punch of that which you are fighting against. But the punch that you have is a love punch, not an anger punch. It is one where you are focusing on where you wish to go and not so much what you wish to break free of, if that makes sense. So when you fight something from a fear or anger-based perspective, you will continue to feed that same energy. Whereas if you focus on where you wish to go and what you wish to break free of in order to get there, then you can get to that space of love, ultimately, a love for self and a love for the collective. And right now, Kati has seen particular injustices in this world that she feels compelled to break humanity out of by building the model that is better suited to heal humanity's traumas and injuries. But in order to get there, you must shine a light on what has been hidden for so long. By exposing it, you merely show the world this is what we have been hiding from, and which has been gobbling up much of our energy through its insidious, invasive behavior. And we've all known that it was there, but we pretended it wasn't there, or we justified it, we explained it away, or somehow even normalized it, that it was somehow acceptable. For example, spanking children, that somehow it keeps the children better behaved, and that school teachers and those in places of authority appreciated those well-behaved children. But what nobody has really addressed is the fact that those children were well-behaved because they were in a state of fear of being hit or abused by someone in a power role or a place of authority. And that's not really well-behaved children, that's fear-based behavior. And we want to get you all to a place where people generously behave out of a love-based vibration, where they are love themselves and love their neighbors, and behave out of a compassionate space. So still having well-behaved children, but they're well-behaved because it is inherently taught that they respect and love one another, instead of behaving a particular way because their knuckles will be wrapped with a ruler. If you take away the stick, the children will not necessarily behave well. Whereas if you teach behavior from a compassionate perspective, you don't need the stick, nor do you even need a carrot, because that inherent sense of compassion for others is what will drive the behavior of the individual, young as well as old. And that is where we wish to get you all. And that is where our another desires to go. And she is going to allow us to kind of design her program on a daily basis, depending upon what the energies are within the world around her, immediately as well as on a grander scale. And to allow us to help her to build the best version of herself, who she wishes to be. Now, she does wish to be a warrior, but the warrior that she wishes to be is somebody who is enlightened and who offers the collective the energy, the power, the magic of how to stand up for what is authentically true, like Sophie Scholl, versus all of these actors who pretend to be something but really are not that energetic imprint, and do it for fame and glory, reputational benefits, but not because that's who they really are within. And at the end of the day, our another does not really care how we get to that end point. If there are others who are actors but encourage others to become love and light, fantastic, so long as we get to the end objective. But her particular perspective is to be that herself, that loving, energetic imprint, and to look at her actions and to determine, is this coming from a vengeful or revenge-based energy? Is it coming from a fear-based energy? Or is it coming from a place of simply, I love myself and I no longer wish to be treated this way. If you do it from the love for self, which means it is simply honoring self versus doing it because you wish to harm somebody else, that is what we have been trying to talk about regarding your intentions. The intentions of your heart matter. Jesus said, if you murder somebody in your heart, it is as if you have murdered the person, because the intention is by which you are, quote unquote, judged in your afterlife. And your intentions are what attract more experiences to you. You don't necessarily see the cause and effect relationship yet. It's similar to somebody who is speeding and doesn't get caught in that moment, but maybe 4 months later has something happen in a completely different aspect of their life, which then teaches them the karmic backlash. And we're not talking about somebody who just speeds, 5 miles over, but we're talking about somebody who was doing it from an intentionally harmful manner, meaning where you're weaving in and out, creating a danger to those around you, flipping people off, whatever it is. You understand what we're talking about. That kind of an energetic imprint, you would want for a police officer to be right then and there to catch them, to give them a ticket, possibly to haul them into jail. So there is an immediacy in the consequence. But we are not there yet because we're moving from the Piscean age where the fear-based vibration still permitted things to kind of sit out there in the ether for a while so that you yourselves could choose to change, if that makes sense. We gave you a longer lead time, a bigger leash, a longer leash, to give you more of an opportunity to either hang yourself or to come back to center. This new energy that we're in is much more love-based, not fear-based. Therefore, the reverberations are much more immediate, and the cause and effect is getting much shorter in time and will continue to do so that within a very short time frame, a few hundred years or so, it will be an immediacy, meaning that you will get an immediate slap across the face when you do something that is not loving, but you need to get to a space where your vibration is high enough to be able to handle that. You all are not there yet, not even remotely there. And so we need to, just like a young child, train you up, your souls train you up with your expectations of what love looks like. And just like a 3-month-old can't hold that vibration, nor can a 2-year-old with the terrible twos, we need to allow you the time to grow into that more loving, energetic being. And we already know you will get there. It's just a question of how you will get there, who will get there quicker, who will get there last, and how will it look when you ultimately get there, because your collective energetic imprint is going to determine whether you live in a fairy garden, a gnome garden, an ephemeral garden, we're kind of limited with our another's experience in this, and she has not explored this much. But, there are different types of energetic gardens where the elementals live, and you all get to determine what this ultimate nirvana will look like that you guys are building. What it will look like will depend upon your collective energetic deposits into that karmic bank account. And then we will build it based on, to a certain extent, the majority rules. What you all desire to build is what we will build for you. And it is that old adage, build it and they will come. It is the chicken and the egg. So you must build it in your mind so that we can build it in reality for you, so that will be your collective experience. And you will, at that point, looking back in history, understand that this law of attraction concept does indeed work, and that it is constantly adapting, similar to the Darwin Awards, where the weakest concepts die off because they are no longer energetically sustainable, and they transition to, a different space, if you will. And that's how your old energies and patterns will be removed through a Darwin effect, meaning that those of you who don't sustain this new energetic vibration will selectively choose yourselves to opt out of this game and to move into a game elsewhere. And it's just the way that it is. It's not going to be an immediate process. It's going to be a slow process, similar to a drip creating the dissolving of sandstone. It is a drip, 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 and after hundreds of years, you can see how it is eroding that sandstone. But if you look at it moment by moment, you may not be able to witness this magnetic change that is upon you all. But when you guys look back in the rearview mirror 300 years from now, you will be less able to deny the cause and effect of your intentions building or creating your future. And we're very excited to help you all build on that. So we wish you many blessings today, and just to continue your own inner growth wherever that is. There is no right, there is no wrong. It's just each choice that you make in each and every moment will take you down a particular path, possibly a different path, if you change the nature of your energetic imprint to something more catalyzing, whether it be to the negative or to the positive. And then just enjoy the ride and learn what you can. You're expanding the universe. You're teaching others around you what works and what doesn't. So for those of you who are on a path of destruction right now, while you may not be able to see it, those around you are getting a first-hand, up-close experience of what destructive behavior looks like, and they're watching and learning and observing so closely on what to avoid and what maybe would have been better to implement. So there's lots and lots of learning opportunities that abound for everybody right now who's somewhat awake and observing the shift in the change of your collective experience. So, happy day, happy night, and we shall speak with you again tomorrow. And so it is. Namaste.